Top 10 Real Superpowers You Can Learn. Superheroes are the objects of extravagant and reverence for millions the world over. They right wrongs, secure the powerless, and salvage society from endless types of unfairness and danger. There's just one glaring issue: they aren't genuine. The unimaginable accomplishments performed by these robust safeguards are made conceivable by uncanny forces that, tragically, are fictional. Or are they? See also, 10 real-life people with real superpowers. What on the off chance that I revealed to you that regular superpowers exist fixed away in our bodies, just trusting that the legitimate preparing will stir them? All things considered, as mind-boggling as this may sound, it is in reality evident. So in case you're prepared to rise above your delicate human shell and become the hero you've generally longed for being, here's a rundown of 10 capacities that you can open to turn into a superhuman. 10. Superhuman strength. Dennis Rogers holding back Harley-Davidsons. Strength is a considerably more unpredictable idea than many figure it out. It's difficult about how much muscle we have, however considerably more so how well we use it. One need not be a musclehead to have super strength, as demonstrated by fabulous expert strongman and pound-for-pound most grounded man on the planet Dennis Rogers. Rogers has performed numerous fantastic amazing accomplishments, including keeping planes from taking off and keeping down 4 Harley-Davidson bikes without a moment's delay. These are amazing accomplishments for any strongman, yet are particularly fantastic thinking about that Dennis Rogers is just 168 centimeters tall, 5 feet 6 inches, and 76 kilograms, 168 pounds. Furthermore, he's in his 50s. So how can he do it? The appropriate response is plyometrics. The objective of plyometrics is to get to a greater amount of the lethargic strength in our muscles by somewhat bypassing a characteristic capacity of the sensory system called the hindrance reflex. The Golgi ligament organ, GTO, present in each muscle, sends nerve motivations to our spinal strings each time we utilize a muscle. The spinal line then, at that point, reacts with a restraint reflex, which restricts the measure of force your muscle can utilize. This interaction exists since human muscles are equipped for making a more serious level of power than they and other primary components of the body can withstand. Notwithstanding this, reflex muscles would tear themselves from pressure, and individuals would hit things with more power than their bones and ligaments could deal with without breaking. The GTO in any case, doesn't smother your force just at the edge of harm. Through preparing with speedy, dangerous activities, plyometrics enables us to compel out more force all the more quickly, before the hindrance reflex occurs. 1. The aim of plyometrics is to prepare your muscles to deliver more force all the more quickly from the muscle that you have, fully intent on producing however much force as could be expected before the restraint reflex happens. To accomplish this, plyometrics depends on speedy, dangerous activities, which center around creating quick power and fostering your quick jerk muscle strands. As well as preparing hazardous burst procedures and activities, a significant piece of growing quick jerk muscle is depleting moderate jerk muscles in other, more expanded endurance-arranged exercises. So, all things considered, quick jerk muscle strands dominate and start to develop. Plyometrics are awesome, however muscle is as yet the wellspring of that strength, so we actually need a few. There is a contrast between how much muscle you have and how solid that muscle is. Both are similarly significant, and both are prepared in an unexpected way. Muscle development, or hypertrophy, is best prepared through pushing muscles to the mark of depletion through high reps and successive exercises for a similar muscle gatherings. Strength, then again, is created with lower reps of more weight and sensible rest time in the middle. 9. Lightning speed. Bruce Lee completely destroys Victor Moore with his insane speed new amazing F. You're presumably thinking, sure, there are some quick individuals out there, yet there's a distinction between being super quick and superhuman speed. However, anybody sufficiently fortunate to have had the distinguished delight of working with the late, incredible Bruce Lee would almost certainly can't help disagreeing. Altogether, for Lee's developments to be sensibly apparent in movie form, they must be hindered to overlap. To begin with, he would purposefully move more slow so the camera could catch his developments, and thereafter, the film would be eased back so the eyes of the watcher could follow what was occurring. In the event that these actions weren't taken, apparently the scoundrels encompassing him would just fall over for reasons unknown with no noticeable cause. 2. If speed outside the ability to grasp of the natural eye isn't quick enough as you would like to think to be viewed as superhuman, then, at that point you're surely an intense one to impress. Fighting quick is a certain something. However, in case we will discuss genuine super speed, we need to consider running and different kinds of development also. Fortunately, this follows back to a similar center idea, which is quick jerk muscle fiber. This is a similar quick jerk muscle fiber examined in the past portion in regards to super strength and is prepared to a great extent with similar kind of ideas, plyometrics and dangerousness, just as zeroing in these sorts of preparing on the muscle bunches vital for the capacities you need to achieve. Fast development, be that as it may, isn't the solitary component of lightning speed. To be fit for using this speed adequately, one should likewise have super response time. Without this, all the speed on the planet is futile. The most ideal approach to prepare response time is through response-situated exercises, for example, the hand slap game and speed pack preparing, just as through visual athletic preparing, for example, robo-pong, center circle, and Brock string works out. 8. Amazing agility. The world's best parkour and freerunning. Up until this point, we've investigated a couple of forces that will help you thump around the baddies. To do as such, you'll need to arrive on schedule to save whoever it is you're saving. Super speed will assist you with that, however you'll have to balance it with the super readiness to move beyond obstructions that the vast majority can't, and quick. Parkour is exactly what you need. As expressed by author David Bell, parkour is a strategy for preparing which permits us to defeat snags, both in the metropolitan and regular habitats. Likely the most eminent ways for parkour clients, trésors, is across housetops, as displayed in the Rush Hour BBC promotion, which was the acquaintance of parkour with the mainstream. 3. Being sufficiently coordinated to climb and bounce and stumble into overwhelming deterrence may not seem like a very remarkable superpower. Yet observe any of the abundance of natively constructed parkour recordings out there, and you'll be stunned by the staggering things previously being finished by numerous individuals across the world. Founded in 1990, parkour is a generally new idea, however has surprised the world and has many preparing schools all throughout the planet. This is significant on the grounds that parkour, when not learned under proficient direction, can be incredibly risky for clear reasons, counting tumbling from the roofs you're hopping across. 7. Outrageous flexibility. Outrageous adaptability is perhaps the most notable of every genuine superpower. Flexibility experts have been a staple of the presentation world since as far back as Old Egypt and conceivably past. An expert of this craftsmanship is Daniel Browning Smith, otherwise called Rubber Boy. Recognized by Guinness World Records as the world's most adaptable man, he is known for just barely getting himself through unstrung tennis rackets, pivoting his middle 180 degrees, bowing 50-50 in reverse from a laying position, and, obviously, pressing into small boxes, also the entirety of different abilities regularly connected with the art. Jiu-jitsu and its cousins, Brazilian Jiu-jitsu and Judo, just as different types of specialized catching are profoundly viable and mainstream combative techniques. These styles of ground combatives use accommodation, gagging, appendage breaking, and different sorts of hooking strategies, and adaptability is fundamental. Adaptability additionally expands the nature of many striking methods, and that is not only for gaudy moves and high kicks. Speed and scope of movement in power creating body parts, similar to the hips, lead to all the more remarkable strikes. Healing and recuperation are likewise significantly expanded with unrivaled adaptability, as it diminishes weight on joints and lessens torment, making us stronger and getting us back into it all the more rapidly after an especially difficult fight or harming injury. Training adaptability is to a great extent dependent on participating in a wide range of extending consistently and much of the time. Dynamic extending includes bit-by-bit expanding reach, development speed, or both, when moving pieces of your body. Ballistic extending is less controlled and depends on utilizing force to push a body part past its standard reach. Static extending includes holding a muscle extended at its farthest point and has two subtypes: static uninvolved, which is holding the extended muscle with some outer power, and static dynamic, which means utilizing just the muscles to hold the stretch. Another sort, isometric extending, includes straining of the extended muscles, for example, if an accomplice is holding your leg high while you attempt to push it down. This is nevertheless one of numerous instances of isometric stretching. All sorts of extending are vital for outrageous adaptability. However, isometric extending is the awesome creating strength and scope of movement for sports and twisting, so utilizing its anything but an essential concentration in your preparation is key for this sort of ability. 4. 6. Ultra fortitude. One step beyond, no pain no gain. For a really superhuman body, courage and sturdiness are of essential significance, as superheroes are confronted with steady danger to their bodies. Strategies for body molding have been utilized for a long time in the realm of hand-to-hand fighting, perhaps the most widely recognized ideas being bone mineralization, likewise called calcification. Bones are basically contained calcium, and the sum and thickness of calcium in those bones decides their size and underlying strength. Opposition preparing in one's exercise routine is a basic and safe approach to accomplish mineralization. It is even proposed to assist the old with keeping up their health. 5. When the body recognizes that its bones are engrossing a lot of power, a characteristic system sends more calcium into the bones, expanding their size, thickness, and weight, hence adding to the primary trustworthiness of their proprietor's body and, in any event, striking force. This idea is called Wolff's Law. Numerous kinds of military craftsmen through history have used this idea by striking articles more than once to cause a calcifying response during the bones, including the amazing Shaolin monks. Davis's law is an idea like Wolff's Law, the distinction being that where Wolff's Law concerns bones, Davis's law concerns delicate tissue. The body's ability to react to pressure isn't restricted to bones, and the delicate tissues of the body can be prepared to solidify through pressure too, bringing about stronger muscles and organs, just as a lift to torment obstruction, which is significant, as well. Having a body that can primarily get by however much discipline as could be expected is extraordinary. Yet how much torment and enduring the legend can suffer prior to yielding to a miscreant or uncommonly laborious assignment is something else and furthermore critical. Torment has two essential ideas driving it: limit and resilience. Limit addresses how much improvement is needed for something to feel excruciating, and resistance addresses the amount of that torment one can actually and mentally persevere. Lamentably, there is by all accounts no chance of expanding one's agony edge, yet resistance can be prepared, and to an amazing degree. A great spot to search for this is bias to the Shaolin. These amazing hero priests perform superhuman accomplishments of torment guideline, like lying on lances and having huge stones crushed on their stomachs. How would they do it? Contemplation. By controlling their brains, the Shaolin can really divert themselves from and even lessen torment, making it almost, if not absolutely, immaterial. On the off chance that that is not superhuman agony opposition, then what is? 5. Enduring extreme temperatures. Photograph credit: Empora. In 2007, Wim Hof set a worldwide best when he submerged himself in ice for 72 minutes in only shorts and boots, and this isn't even his most inconceivable accomplishment. He has likewise climbed Mount Everest, once more, in only shorts and boots. He was just halted from arriving at the culmination by a foot injury, and run a long-distance race in the desert without water. Wim Hof, or the Iceman, as he is known, oversees such things with an increased association with and control of his body. This may seem like something that is conceivable as stunt or deception. However, Hof has consistently tackled his job under a magnifying glass by researchers and columnists, every one of whom confirm his claims. 6. Though he has been seen by established researchers intently enough to demonstrate his authenticity, precisely how his techniques work stays a secret to science. So how could it be feasible to prepare something that can't be recognized? Also, how could it be that we can be certain that Wim Hof is certainly not an oddball anomaly of nature? Since he instructs individuals. Believe it or not, you can take exercises from the man straightforwardly, and regardless of whether venturing out to Europe to prepare with the man is excessively, there are preparing recordings on his site. 4. Improved immunity. Another achievement of the Wim Hof technique is expanding your invulnerability. This was demonstrated when Wim Hof was recorded opposing that side effects of an endotoxin presented in a clinical research center. The researchers were dumbfounded by what they saw yet questioned that any other person could reproduce Hof's accomplishment. To test this, 12 understudies of Hof's were gotten, and every one of them opposed the poison, very much like Hof. The Wim Hof technique might be unfathomably noteworthy, Yet it's anything but a fix-all, and as perilous as it very well might be, for some expected pollutants, the best way to ensure ourselves is to uncover ourselves. Resistance to harms and different poisons is most normally accomplished by burning through or infusing an exceptionally little, survivable sum into one's body at a consistently expanding rate as the body's regular guarded responses persistently harden the body's invulnerability to said poison. This expression for this is Mithridatism. 7. Vaccines are a comparable idea, made as impersonations of an infection that cause no disease and are proposed to incite a reaction from the safe framework, which then, at that point produces antibodies and T lymphocytes which ensure us against the ailment being referred to. 3. Apnea diving. Photograph credit. Sylvain 7171. Apnea plunging, or freediving, is so famous and notable that it's difficult a superhuman capacity yet in addition a game. IDA International Freediving is a popularity-based, global association that sets rules and guidelines for well-being in the game, as well as keeping up world records and arranging occasions everywhere in the world. Despite the fact that researchers accepted for quite a long time that people could just endure submerged for a couple of moments tops and at profundities no more profound than 50 meters, 164 feet, a portion of the world records in this game incorporate plunges to profundities well more than 200 meters, 656 feet, for certain enduring more than 11 minutes on a solitary breath. 8. This is conceivable in view of a transformative variation called the jumping reflex. The activity of this reflex is to close down and additionally lethargic physiological capacities that utilization oxygen, hence permitting our bodies to work on less oxygen for a more extended time frame. Blood shift is another wonder additionally vital in freediving. This capacity permits the lungs to load up with plasma, keeping their breakdown from pressure. Though perceived as a game around the world, freediving is still very risky to the poorly ready. Ill-advised arrangement and broken or blundered gear have caused various passings in the game. Along these lines, it is imperative to look for legitimate guidance. 2. Echolocation. Many have found out about how some visually impaired individuals can utilize echolocation to explore their environmental factors. Yet a recent report from Ludwig Maximilian University of Munich scientists shows that located individuals can gain proficiency with this ability, too. Incidentally, the capacity to echolocate is an ability that lies torpid inside everybody. This is on the grounds that our cerebrums have figured out how to close out echoes so we can zero in more viably on the essential wellspring of a sound, as opposed to having the steady interruption of echoes of everything around us. The secret to learning echolocation is to figure out how to tune in to the echoes that as of now exist in the world. The LMU TRI comprised of located individuals equipped with a headset that contained headphones and a receiver. The members made a vocalization, and the fitting reverberation according to articles and spaces in the room was made through the headphones. This test permitted located individuals, over half a month of preparing, to figure out how to extrapolate data with respect to shape, size, and distance from the given echo. 9. 1. Brain control. Controlling others like mannequins may not be sensible, yet embedding considerations and changing the manner in which individuals think particularly is. The human psyche is shockingly helpless, and controlling personalities through planted idea is more available an ability than many would assume. This is the reason the peruser ought to find out about this, not exclusively to utilize if require be yet additionally to protect against it should one go over a client of these techniques. The fundamental component of this cycle is to pursue the psyche mind while the cognizant brain is generally engaged, and here are the 5 most regular strategies. Covert entrancing involves persuading somebody that your musings are their own through interesting, centered discussion. At the point when one takes part in design interference, they make a concise entrancing second by constraining somebody's focus through an unusual conduct, for example, setting a hand on somebody's chest instead of shaking their hand in a hello. The second it takes them to investigate the circumstance will cause a short mesmerizing state. The Zeigarnik impact is focus that normally happens in individuals toward inadequate assignments. This can be accomplished by telling somebody an inadequate story, in any case making them center around a fragmented undertaking. During this time of diverted center, they are profoundly suggestible. Another strategy is to utilize equivocal expressions or remarks that require somebody's concentration to break down, causing a concise time of high suggestibility. At last, there are entrancing watchwords, subliminal summoning phrases like, envision if... That can make an ascent in availability somebody's inner mind. This procedure is somewhat unclear and more fragile yet at the same time regularly used. Controlling others isn't, notwithstanding, the lone utilization of these abilities. Quite possibly the main uses, and the explanation this thing was put something aside for keep going on the rundown, is that these stunts can be utilized to help foster ourselves. The peruser might be overpowered by the sheer evident level of exertion expected to achieve the things recorded here, yet by overseeing oneself utilizing procedures like self-entrancing, it is surprising what challenges the normal individual can survive and what achievements they can achieve. Using mind control on yourself is to a great extent comprised of neurolinguistic programming, NLP, which in this unique situation, is generally comprised of two methods. The glimmer strategy is an NLP practice in which one pictures a picture related with a negative inclination in a given condition brilliantly and distinctively. The individual then, at that point embeds in that envisioned picture another, a lot more modest dark-scale picture of their favored inclination in that condition. Steadily, the favored envision develops to assume control over the negative picture, with the shading depleting from the negative picture to the favored picture. This cycle is rehashed again and again until mentally effective. Securing his partner an inward reaction with an outer or inside upgrade to re-access the interior reaction, like how seeing something nostalgic will help you to remember how you felt when you initially saw it. This impact can be physically made by picking a basic, self-creatable improvement, for example, making a hand signal or contacting yourself with a specific goal in mind and rehashing that activity when you need to relate the moored feeling to a given assignment at hand. 10. Though a couple of strategies in every class have been recorded here, there are really an incredible number of others that can be utilized to accomplish similar types of control. So the writing is on the wall, 10 learnable superpowers ready for training. Obviously, in the quickness of this bullet point article, the total interaction of learning such wondrous things isn't expressible, yet the entirety of the things are out there and fit to be prepared. All that is left presently is to connect, get for fate, and, obviously, consistently utilize your forces for great.